What's the good word, gentlemen, viewers? It's your boy Hated, and I'm back after a brief hiatus. But there's a reason for the hiatus. First of all, I have the new camera that I got that I promised you guys I was working on getting. So I'm still tinkering with trying to figure out the audio situation now with the new camera, and figuring out how to get the best quality out of it. So of course, like usual, feedback is highly appreciated. E3 is going down out here in California, so I've been really watching all the conferences, paying attention to news and stuff like that. This is day 3 of the conferences. I've seen all of them already. So actually, my boy Roger just stopped by to pick up some mail, talk about some stuff, and tell me about the swag he's bringing. I guess tomorrow. I'm not sure when, but he looked beat. But I mean, he was walking around the E3 show floor for 3 days, so I can imagine him being tired. Anyway, you already know why we're here. Koutetsujou no Kabaneri, episode 9. Fire. I'm not going to go on too long about it because it's very action-packed, very much one of those episodes where you have to watch it to fully grasp it. This is just going to be a discussion about some of the things we've seen. So for starters, let's go ahead and say it. Our thoughts on Biba. There isn't an argument you can make anymore for Biba essentially being maybe a good guy that's misunderstood or a good guy using evil means for a good end. Really, I mean, no, let's not say that. You could make the argument that he's still doing these things in his mind for the better good. But realistically speaking, he is doing a fantastic job of portraying himself as a villain. Everything about him. The way he smirks when he does something sinister, the sinister face he makes all the time period, his ability to sacrifice those close to him for whatever ends he's looking for. And then you find out, well, we knew this from episode 8 actually, that him and his father, the Shogun, have gone apart. He's been disowned. But we don't know the details of what happened and why he did it, but perhaps the Shogun sees Biba for the evil person that he is and just wants nothing to do with him and is washing his hands of him. This episode, you gotta watch it, point blank. A lot of stuff is revealed, a lot of stuff happens, a lot of stuff goes down. First off, let's just go ahead and say this right now. Koutetsujou is a G. What he does for Yame, what he does, period. Like, this is a man that he is the most honor-bent character in the series. He has a duty, and he will fulfill that duty at any cost, regardless of what it happens to him, what it means he has to put up with, he'll do it. So you'll understand that with what you see during this episode. I don't want to spoil what happens. Yukina is also a G. Koutetsujou's at the top. Yukina is right below him, like not too far. Again, this is a woman who is she's about that action. She's about what she says. Ayame and her are friends. She sees Ayame as a friend. She is loyal to Ayame. She has Ayame's back, and you see more of that in this episode. So much happens. Okay, so we find out, essentially, without spoiling anything, that Biba is after revenge. Or at least that's what he's told the people that are working with him, his subordinates. All of this, what they're doing, the sinister stuff, the shady stuff they're doing with the Kabaneri and all of it, it's a plot for revenge. They're after revenge for something that happened 10 years ago. What happened 10 years ago, we will find out as we keep watching. But that's essentially the core motivation for the majority of the Liberators. Now, is that the core motivation for Biba specifically? Who knows? I don't know. He's a very complicated character. There's so much we need to find out about him. And with 3 episodes left, who knows what's going to happen? I'm going to be watching episode 10 right after this, and then I'll record episode 10's review right after this. I'm just going based on what I've seen up to this point, which is 1 through 9, obviously. His true motivations, I don't believe that revenge is purely it, because even the speech he gives at the end, where he's saying that he's doing these things to set people really, to bring true freedom to people. I am paraphrasing. You'll find out what he's really saying when you watch the episode. And if you watch the episode, you've already heard he said. But basically, he says something to the tune of, I'm bringing true freedom to you. I'm removing the locks and the cowardice. He's saying something that I've said and technically Koma said, but it's in a perverted sense. This notion of fear and cowardice being what's actually restricting people, what's bounding them, bounding them to not be free. He's saying this too. It's just that his methods for doing it is drastic and horrible, really. A lot of death happens in this episode. A lot of death. And how it goes down is shocking. I didn't see it coming. The way Mume and even just all the entire plot he comes up with, you've got to watch this episode. This episode is easily a 10 out of 10. I have no complaints. Even the animation for the action sequences were just well done, beautifully done. Anytime Kurusu fights, you know they have a budget. Every episode where Kurusu's going to be doing anything, they set aside a part of that budget for the animation, and it's like, no, we cannot cut corners. It has to be clean, because Kurusu's on the screen. His segment is clean as hell. The segment something happens to the other Kabaneri that is not Mume, but Mume's older sister. And you see in this episode, they're actually a lot closer than we knew, but it makes sense. I mean, she's the only other female Kabaneri we've seen, and her and Mume are close. I'm trying to remember her name right now, but it's lost on me because she's not very human. And you'll understand what I mean by that when you watch this episode. She loses her humanity, and it appears to be willingly too. She knows Biba's plan, and she just goes along with it, even with what happens to her. It's kind of shocking. She's extremely loyal to him. And Mume as well is loyal to him, but we're starting to see Mume questioning Biba's actions and his motives. She's questioning things. I think it's just because of her relationship with Ikoma. It's her relationship with the people on the Koutetsujou. She's starting to question what Biba is really after. And she's starting to realize that maybe Biba isn't the man she thought he was. Maybe she's been deceived. Who knows? She's just lost. Remember, we look at Mume as this cold-hearted, calculated killer, and she is to a degree, but she's still a young woman. She's still I don't know her specific age. She's at the oldest. Mume is like what, 14, 15 maybe. She's a young girl still. She's naive. She still has a lot to learn about the world. So she's doing that now as she's going on the journey, and she's meeting new people and interacting with them and learning how to socialize with people outside of the liberators and whatnot. So now she's starting to question things. Her contrast with Ikoma and how different they were, and the spats they got into, and the arguments they've got into on life and the world and how things should be handled, have matured her. She's starting to think more for herself, and it's really hard to manipulate someone who thinks for themselves. So that's going to be really interesting to see how that plays out. But yeah, the episode 9 is honestly, episode 8 was a anchoring episode. You couldn't skip it. Episode 9, same thing. You cannot watch this series and skip these episodes. They're pivotal. You have to see them. And there's only 9. This is the episode 9. We have 10, 11, and 12 left, I believe. That's 3 episodes. Man, I'm about to go watch episode 10 right now. So you'll see a video for that as well. Hey, yeah, let me go do that.